Welcome to another episode of Modern Cooking. I know it's been a while. Today we're going to make some of my favorite appetizers, buffalo chicken dip cups, and y'all are going to love them. And this would actually be a really good appetizer with the Super Bowl coming up. Go Patriots! I'd like to start out by searing some chicken. I normally like to get 6 pieces in a skillet and maybe season them with some crushed red pepper. That's one of my favorite spices. And some Lowry's garlic salt or just regular salt. And then in another pot I'll have maybe 3 blocks of 8 ounces of cream cheese along with some heavy cream, 1 pint, 1 cup of ranch dressing, and 1 cup of Frank's hot sauce. I'll just put it on a low simmer for maybe about 20 minutes before adding my chicken in. But I always like to make sure my chicken is really good and simmered. Then now what I'll do is, to give it extra flavor to my sauce, I add a packet of ranch dressing. Again, just to give it that extra flavor and that extra kick. So you go ahead and you add your ranch dressing. You always want to make sure that you keep an eye on the chicken so it doesn't burn on the outside. And another thing with the chicken is that what I like to do is all the juices that form from sauteing them, I'll add them to my dip to give it, again, a little extra flavor. So again, like I said, you want to go ahead and just keep, paying attention to your chicken. The chicken shouldn't take any more than maybe 20 minutes. And also to my dip, I like to add Colby Jack cheese, or you can do sharp cheese. It's whichever one you like. I like the Colby Jack because it's a combination of different cheeses. And you want to go ahead and just mix it all together while you're still keeping the eye on your chicken breasts and turning them as you see fit. And as you can see, just from letting this dip simmer slowly, it'll start to break up. And then what I do is, to give it a little extra spice, I'll add just regular red pepper, red cayenne pepper. And yes, I do add that along with the crushed red pepper again, because I like my buffalo dip to be spicy, extra spicy. But if you want yours to be a little bit more mild, you can always reduce the cayenne pepper or just leave it out altogether, because the crushed red pepper is going to be enough spice in itself. And again, to my dip sauce or stew, I always like to add Lowry's garlic salt or just regular salt. It's totally up to you. Again, that may be like a teaspoon and a half of salt. I always like to eyeball and put in some black pepper and just continue stirring. I will say this is probably one of my favorite appetizers to make, and all of my friends and family love it. So again, you want to give it a good stir. And just to let everybody know, this is a really easy dish to make, a really easy appetizer to make also. Now I'm going to put my top on it and let it simmer for a little bit longer and let the cheeses break up and marry together while I'm still watching my chicken and flipping my chicken over. And as you can see, like in the bottom of the skillet, all of the juices are forming. And again, you're going to go ahead and make sure you put that in the dip just to give it a little extra, flavor. So as you can see, the chicken is pretty much almost done. So we'll be able to transfer that here shortly. And once the chicken's done, what I like to do is put it on a counter or a cutting board. And as you can see to the left, that's one of my favorite Suntuko knives. I love that knife. That knife is maybe, I want to say, my best friend. So I'm going to take the chicken and I'm going to go ahead and just cut it up into small pieces. Now, depending on the knife that you're using, you want to be really, really careful. I've learned to be a little bit of an expert with the knife, and sometimes I have a tendency to go crazy. And there have been times I've even broken a nail. So again, just be careful, not crazy, while you're actually cutting up your chicken. And you want to cut it into small pieces, as small as possible, while they're just bite-sized pieces. And you do one piece at a time. And you can cut as slow or as fast as you need to. Again, you don't have to cut anything like me. You don't have to use the same knife that I'm using. Some people like to shred the chicken, then cut it up and put it in. That's fine too. But you want to be small bite-sized pieces, because again, they're going to go into little cups. So you don't want the chicken pieces to be too big for the cups. So I always like to give my chicken a nice fine cut. And you want to do one at a time. And as I'm cutting my chicken, I'm going to go ahead and I'm throwing it in my dip. And again, I'm keeping on making sure all of those juices, with the chicken marry into the mixture. And mixing it all together. And like I said, it's always good to use maybe about 6 pieces of chicken so that you don't have way too much sauce. Because if you have way too much cheese sauce, then it'll actually be a little bit more thin than what you like, and it won't be as thick. So And then you just let the sauce cook down, or the dip cook down, for another 20 minutes with the actual chicken in it. And while that's cooking down, I'm going to go ahead and get my cups ready. And what I like to use is wonton wraps. I use wonton wrap as the cups, and they actually have a little bit of flavor to them also. So what I like to do is I like to grease my muffin pans first with maybe like pan cooking spray, and then I actually put them in diagonally. I always make sure the corners are crisscross, and you always want to do 2 cups to a pan to give it a nice like 4-corner feel. And again, what you'll want to do is make sure that you use some type of cooking spray or pan cooking spray so that the bottom of the cups don't burn and they come out nice and golden brown. And I also like to give them a nice little finish of cooking spray on the top so that they don't burn when I put them in the oven for 15 minutes. Then I take them out. I'll put them in the oven for 15 minutes on like 325. Take them out and then fill the cups with the dip. And I'll tell you something, this dip is good by itself. You can actually put it in the oven by itself in a baking dish and put cheese over it and put it in. You'll put it in for maybe like 35 minutes. Put cheese over top of it, take it out and garnish with green onions, and you have a dip that can be eaten with corn chips. I preferably like the Frito scoop chips to go along with the dip. It's really good. Or you can use any chip you like to. You can even use celery if you want something a little bit healthier. Or you can actually use pita chips. It's totally up to you. That's one thing I like about this dip. It's versatile. It can be eaten with pretty much anything. But back to the cups. As you can see, I'm filling up each cup individually. And once we get them filled up, it'll actually go right back into the oven for another 20 minutes on 325. And then they'll be ready to serve. Well, actually, you'll just let them sit for a minute. After you take them out of the oven, you let them sit for maybe about 10 minutes, and then you serve them. But once we're done filling up all of the cups, we're going to go ahead and put cheese over top of each one. And again, you can use the shredded cheese, or you can use Colby Jack cheese. You can even use mozzarella, whatever one you like. It's totally up to you. But I prefer Colby Jack because I'm all into appearance now. So when the Colby Jack really goes along with the color of the dip. So again, you're going to put a pinch of maybe Colby Jack on each cup that's filled with the dip before it's put into the oven. And again, yes, it's going to be Colby Jack cheese, whatever brand you want to use. It's totally fine. And then it's going to go back into the oven for 20 minutes on 325. And while the cups are in the oven cooking or baking, what I like to do is cut up my green onions, which is going to be my final garnish. And again, I use my Santuco knife to just cut up the green onions. And once the cups are done, I go ahead and let them sit for a few moments before garnishing with the green onions. And the green onions add a different flavor, which is really good to the cups. So you again, go ahead and just garnish with the green onions, which doesn't take very long. And I also like to refrigerate them and keep them refrigerated before I put them on the cups, so it gives a nice cool feel while you're biting into the hot cup itself. But as you can see, now the cups are done and they're ready for the party or whatever it is that you're going to be doing. And you can take each one out, put it on a serving dish, let them sit for 10 minutes before serving. You want to wait a few minutes before serving these because the filling is really hot. And as you can see, the bottoms of the cups are actually really golden brown. So it makes for a really nice presentation. And everybody would just love them. Well, there you have it, something quick and easy that can be eaten before dinner, during a gathering, or even during the upcoming